Get ready to see the most unusual and rare historical photos with an interesting story. I will be glad to receive your subscription.
Two girls enjoying an ice cream after their school day. 1950s. Bus station, 1943. Schoolgirls waiting at a bus stop in a small town in Tennessee. 1950s. Teenage couple eating hot dogs outside a refreshment stand table. The pedicure, 1873. Keys Sharer, cafe patio in Vienna, 1960s. Mitrofan Pyatnitsky records Russian village singers on a photograph, Russia, 1910. Members of the troupe of Sergei Diaghilev, St. Petersburg, early 20th century. French physician Guillaume Duchesne, 1806 to 1875, studied the functions of facial muscles by irritating them with an electric current. He could make experimental volunteers smile by applying electrodes to certain points. British actress Phyllis Stanley speaks to the crew of the British battleship HMS Nelson on January 7, 1943. January 1, 1974, New York. Photographer Merrill Meisler's family and friends celebrate the new year. Photo by Merrill Meisler. December 1972, Vietnam. The white population of the United States is protesting against the education of their children along with blacks. The boy is holding a poster. All I want for Christmas is a clean white school. Women garage attendants at the Atlantic Refining Company, 1943. Soviet and American military celebrate victory over Germany in an informal setting. The grave of Quentin Roosevelt, the brother of U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, who died in aerial combat. 1918. Why was it so important that they bathe? In the sky over Palomares, an American B-52G strategic bomber with thermonuclear weapons on board collided with a KC-135 tanker aircraft. As a result of the disaster, 7 people were killed and 4 thermonuclear bombs were lost. 1 bomb fell into the sea. 2 bombs that fell near Palomares collapsed, causing radiation contamination of the area. Panic broke out among the Spaniards. To combat it, Spanish Minister of Information and Tourism Manuel Fraga and U.S. Ambassador Angier Biddle swim on Palomares Beach in front of correspondents. 1966. In the picture above, a group of South Bend, Indiana, police and fire department officers with a car that the city used to fight the bad boys. 1933 or 1934, Studebaker is equipped with an armored radiator cap, front tire protection, and a pistol window on the right side of the windshield. The Kennedys watched the America's Cup from aboard the warship. Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., USA, September 1962. Teenage girl tying a scarf around the neck of her boyfriend was a fad. Gossip time. 1940s vintage photo of older women chatting in the front of a house together in 1940s fashions. Young ladies in dresses from famous designers. Adults and children sell lilies on the streets of Paris. The year is 1930. The war will end soon. Don't be a fool. Don't get 2 years in prison for looting. Poster in Ravenna, Italy, December 7th, 1944. Henry Ford in a cowboy costume and Thomas Edison, 1923. In 1945, a new division was created at General Motors, the Department of Labor Relations with Employees. The decision to create it was made by GM President Charles Wilson, and Harry Cohen, who became vice president at the same time, became the head of the new service. The department's work was aimed at reducing friction between employees and the employer and increasing their productivity. That is, the department had to find a middle ground between labor relations and employee relations. A party on the Sunset Strip, February 7th, 1966. Stunts of police officers on a motorcycle. The year is 1940. Stuntman Marjorie Dare, Doris Smith, on the Wall of Death, England, 1938. British communists at a demonstration in London, May 1st, 1936. Senseless and Ruthless Women's Boxing, 1904. This portrait of Lillian Russell, a renowned stage actor and singer in the 19th and early 20th century. This late 1800s group of tennis players who are wearing, quite frankly, the longest pairs of socks I've ever seen in my life. This snapshot of American aviator Glenn Curtis's wife, Lena, behind the controls of a plane in 1910. This taxi from 1921 that's making me seriously wonder how long taxis have had total claim over the checkerboard pattern. This photo of a baseball player on the New York Female Giants. In 1913, there were two New York Female Giants teams, red and blue. This vibrant Chinese dragon on parade during the 4th of July, sometime between 1910 to 1915. This snapshot of William Howard Taft playing cards with his wife en route to the Philippines in 1900. Finally, this photo taken of and by Francis Benjamin Johnston, a famous photographer at the turn of the century who made a lasting impact on women in photography. Conducting school in the church, Gee's Bend, 1937. Sale signs on a department store, Montgomery, 1939. General store interior, Moundville, 1936. Funeral procession on the Manhattan Bridge, New York, May 11th, 1914. The city is seeing off 17 sailors and 5 Marines who died during the incident in Veracruz, Mexico, the previous month. The last Mexican grizzly bear is shown to the public, Mexico, 1954. Black Palace Prison by Frank Churchill, Mexico City, 1950. The Mexican Revolution and the Civil War of 1910 to 1917, a period in the history of Mexico during which the country fought a civil war, which is one of the bloodiest in the history of mankind. Claudia Cardinale is an Italian film actress. Italy, the 1960s. Swedish actress and fashion model Anita Ekberg, 1931 to 2015, in a wheat field during the filming of another movie masterpiece. Italy, the 1950s. Assembly of Fiat 500 cars. The Fiat factory, Turin, Italy. The year is 1957. An Italian family on a Lambretta scooter, Sicily, Italy. The year is 1963. Sophia Loren demonstrates her billiard skills to American soldiers at U.S. Army Supply Depot in Italy, circa 1954. A group of former Italian prisoners of war on the streets of Vienna on their way home from the USSR, 1950. The magnificent Sophia Loren at the 1955 Cannes Film Festival. Venice, St. Mark's Square during Acqua Alta, high water, 1963. Italian light cruiser Alberico de Barbiano under construction at the Ansaldo shipyard in Genoa, June 20th, 1929. The tricycle was released in 1940, equipped with a 500 cubic centimeters engine. The tricycle was popular in the army due to its ease of operation and partial integration with the Italian military tricycle Benelli. A Libyan cavalryman of the Italian Camel Corps, Dubiti, surveys the border environs during the pre-war escalation of relations between Italy and Abyssinia, February 11, 1935. The knife grinder. The prototype of the MIA's armored assault motorized rifle was built by Italian engineers in the 1930s of the last century. In an old Italian courtyard. Italian troops are lifting a cannon, a dog, and soldiers up a mountain. Italian actress Alicia Marissa, surrounded by fans, Rome, 1955. Political differences on the background of what I read. Italians can really be overly emotional. An officer of Mussolini's army gets a manicure in Milan, Italy, 1934. Roberto Galizzi and his brainchild, the rigid deep-sea space suit, Italy, 1935. French soldiers at the Ehrenbreitstein Fortress, Rhineland-Palatinate, on the east bank of the Rhine during the occupation of the Rhineland by French troops. Germany. The year is 1929. Portrait of French film actress, singer, model, and writer Brigitte Bardot. Great Britain. The year is 1955. The man reads the menu. Le Chartier Restaurant. The Latin Quarter. Paris, France. The year is 1928. Salvador Dali. Paris, France, 1967. French children study German at school in the temporarily German-occupied territory of France in the province of Champagne. The First World War. France. The year is 1917. Parisian women on a walk. Paris, France. The year is 1911. The Japanese military is considering the next trophies left after the defeat of the Chinese. Models prepare for an advertising photo shoot on the Great Wall of China, 1988. Auguste Leroux in his studio, 1903. Inuit girl with her dog, St. Louis World's Fair, 1904. Girl with sleigh in a winter landscape, 1892 to 1907. A back view of Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna's dress at the Cowes Regatta, 1909. Ladies in riding habits, C.1900. New photo of Grand Duchess Anastasia Nikolaevna playing tennis with Uncle Grand Duke Ernst Louis of Hesse, Levadia, Crimea, 1912. Princess Alice of Battenberg with her husband, Prince Andrew of Greece, circa 1903. Onlookers watch a ship run aground off the coast in Victoria Province, Australia. The year is 1908. A man from the Ainu tribe, Japan, 1908. A Turkish woman, Turkey, the 1900s. The Beckons van, 1905. Photo from the archive of the San Francisco Library. Women in bathing suits, Colroy Beach, Australia, 1908. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson from England, champions in pairs skating, Davos, Switzerland, 1900. Participants in a demonstration calling for the abolition of child labor, New York City, 1909. A car after a mud trip, Illinois, USA, 1905. Mixed couple, Berlin, CA, 1914. The faces of American immigration, early 20th century. The eruption of the Paracutin volcano, Mexico, 1943. Peasants on sleds, the Russian Empire, the 1910s. A teacher leads his students down a street in Samarkand in the 1870s and reads a prayer. A fisherman sets top traps for fish, 1925. Distribution of free lunches in the children's cafeteria, 1920. Curtis A-12 Shrike, Hawaii, 1940. German soldiers are sitting in a Soviet toilet. Notter's Atelier on Capuchinac Boulevard, Paris, 1861 to 1872. Steamship experience on the Kuban River, 1910s. The delivery of bricks to the elevator, 1939. Trolley bus repair, 1937. An artisan makes wheels, 1912. A legless man leads a blind man by a string, 1903. The Chukchi rite is performed in the middle of summer to avert the dangers of contagious diseases or calm severe storms. Portrait of a girl with a toy boat in her hands. The Russian Empire, 1910s. The public watches the eclipse on the Champ de Mars, April 4th, 1912. A woman repairs a tank, England, 1940. A British parachutist removes a Wellbike folding motorcycle from a container during the exercises of the 3rd Parachute Brigade, 1943. SEALs participate in air patrols, USA, 1940s. A soldier and his mother in a strawberry meadow, Florin, Sacramento County, California, 1942. Rommel inspects the fortifications on the beach, which will soon become the Utah landing area. Normandy, 1944. The wrecked aircraft carrier Franklin, 1945. Captain Lewis Nixon suffers from a hangover after celebrating Victory Day at Hitler's Eagle's Nest, 1945. Winston Churchill meets Billy the Goat, the mascot of the Royal Welsh Fusiliers, 1943. A former German soldier who has returned from captivity reads the announcements on a tree about the search for relatives. Dresden, 1946. Home-cooked lunch in post-war Warsaw, 1945. A cowboy brands a cow on a ranch. Nebraska, 1887. A group of peasant girls in casual clothes. Japan, 1880. Passengers on the outskirts of the English capital travel by horse-drawn carriage. London, 1882. Chinese railway workers pose for a photographer somewhere near Vancouver, Canada, 1874. Miners from Colorado, 1895. Three children sift sand at a gold mine in Dominion Creek, Yukon, Alaska, 1898. Buddhist priests. Ceylon, Sri Lanka, in the 1880s. Mom and daughter in the mountains of Switzerland, 1917. Paris, 1922. Treatment of a child from lice, 1945. The climbers reached the Jungfrau Peak. Switzerland, 1903. Italian wedding, 1940s. Shepherds at the top of Parnassus. Greece, 1903. The Bookseller. Paris, 1948. Mother and Daughter. Spain, 1957. Sale of figurines on the street. Berlin, 1921. Paris, 1950. The square in front of the royal castle in Königsberg, now Kaliningrad, 1932. Chicago, 1907. Hollywoodland, USA, the 1920s. A Ford tractor cleans the street of snow. Washington, 1925. Light camera, motor, filming in the backyard of a Hollywood movie studio, 1920s. An electric car on the sidewalk in Venice, Los Angeles, circa 1920. A boy selling apples near a road in North Carolina, circa 1934. A vendor of roasted chestnuts in Soho, London, United Kingdom, 1935. Joe Smith, a strong blacksmith from Gloucester, holds a fence for road work in his teeth. England, 1936. Ladies on roller skates. London, 1926. The hatter's assistant stands on the brim of the top hat to show its durability. London, 1925. Marilyn Monroe during a visit to the baseball team's training camp. March 1951. A young couple and a Harley-Davidson motorcycle with a sidecar. Pacific Coast, California, 1925. 3 beginner Maiko. Japan, 1929. An American soldier gives a Japanese woman a ride on a bicycle. Japan, 1946. Women pull nets from the Mekong River. Vietnam, 1974. A veteran of World War II earns his living by playing the guitar. Tokyo, 1951. Pottery made by mountaineers near Seoul, circa 1900. Japanese children sincerely rejoice at the snowfall, 1950s. Coolies are carrying tea bales. Kushin, China, 1917 to 1919. Demonstration of Japanese Krispy Kreme donuts, 1950s. The flood in New York on September 12, 1960. The T-34 tank overcomes the trench. The year is 1943. A carriage pulled by a pair of bison. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, USA, 1900. An African king riding on a subject and carrying an umbrella. German East Africa, 1913. Fishing, venturing. Slavianskia village, the beginning of the 20th century. Vilna, on the Valaika River, 1870 to 1872. Manual brick production in the Transvolga region, 1890s. Convicts in geography classes, 1908. West Siberian Railway, 1892. Blacksmithing and Locksmith Workshop, Persia, 1902. Trapping Wild Elephants, India, 1953. Currency exchange, Palestine under the British Mandate, the 1930s. Sacred Jain temples, India, 1901. The Porter with the Fish, Istanbul, 1964. A balloon vendor in Buenos Aires, Argentina, 1954. Young girls of the early 70s, Budapest. Street scene. France, Saint-Tropez, 1959. An old watch. Naples, Italy, 1954. Women smoke on a sailing boat in Normandy, France, early 20th century. Miss Europe, 1930. Miss Russia, Miss Austria, and Miss Holland from left to right. Café de Fleur Terrace, Paris, 1950. A knife grinder at work, Moscow, 1959. Fashion show, 1959. Women's curling team, Montreal, Royal Columbia, 1904. The Bazaar in Kunduz, Afghanistan, 1962. Carabao in a rice field, Philippines, circa 1917. An icy train at the station after completing the route, Canada, 1918. Children learn to read and write. The sand of the Sahara as a chalkboard, Tunis, 1914. Falconry with peregrine falcon, UAE, 1949. Howrah Bridge, Calcutta, India, 1953. A Christmas play at the German school in Lupembe, Tanzania, 1936. Three brothers from a wealthy family pose for a photo portrait, Ghana, 1917. Construction of a tram line, Yekaterinodar, 1910. The terrace at the restaurant of the Caucasian Riviera Resort, Sochi, 1910. Peasants work against the backdrop of Mount Fujiyama, Japan, 1898. Sinhalese and a fishing boat, Ceylon, Sri Lanka, circa 1880. A girl collects tea leaves, Sri Lanka, 1880s. Chauhan Rajputs, Delhi, India, 1862 to 1868. The Northern Pier Port, Panoramic View, Gibraltar, 1850 to 1890. Residents of W. L. Hand, Kearney, Nebraska. Returning from church, Hardanger Fjord, Norway. The year is 1892. Traditional cowboy dance, the state of Nebraska, USA, 1889. Crocodile hunting, Egypt, 1870s. Tanneries on the banks of the Beaver River, Paris, 1860s. A ditch in Suffolk, England, 1880s. In a field with pumpkins, 1898. A warrior of the Bishari tribe, an ethnic group inhabiting Northeast Africa, Egypt, 1880. Pilots belonging to the Ku Klux Klan, 1921. The machine sprays sulfur on the grape bushes to prevent the appearance of mold. California, 1982. A young greaser at the Bessie Mine in Alabama, USA, 1910. The Manhattan Bridge is under construction, USA, 1909. Madison Square, New York, 1905. A Sandman on a Beach in Florida, 1964. The Ford Model TT transports hay, USA, 1921. Jackknife Bridge and Chicago River, Chicago, circa 1907. Girls eat ice cream sitting on blocks of ice, 1926. Working with a mannequin, London, 1950. In Search of Nessie, Scotland, 1968. The plane crashed into a house, Great Britain, March 27, 1963. Guide dogs, England, 1931. A passenger jumps on a moving London bus, 1938. Rural children learn to swim in a dispensary, 1935. A new resident of the London Zoo, 1958. Westminster Bridge, London, 1952. Tower Bridge, view from London Bridge, London, 1955. Experimental rail plane by George Benny, Scotland, 1923. Cycling star George Brake tries to straighten a wheel during the London race, 1948. Tea party on the trampoline by the outdoor pool, London, 1938. Sweepers and Sweepers, 1938. To Work in Moscow, 1930. Cleaning of railway tracks from ice and snow using a MiG-15 jet engine, Czechoslovakia, 1970. Hoods of women from the Azores. Student engineers pose next to the engine they helped design at the General Electric plant in 1928. Goodyear Aircraft Corps technicians are working on the concept of an inflatable toroid space habitat. NASA, 1961. A camera with flashlights, 1931.